All rise. We will obey. The International Criminal Court is now in session. L'audience de la Cour pénale internationale est ouverte. Please be seated. Veuillez vous asseoir.
Thank you very much. Court officer, please, the case.
Thank you, Mr. President. The situation in the Republic of Kenya in the case of the prosecutor versus William Samuel Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang. ICC 0109-0111. We're in open session.
Thank you. Appearances?
Morning, Mr. President. Your Honour's appearances are the same for the prosecution.
Good morning, Mr. President, Your Honours. For the victims, Ocean Nansik, James Maria, and Amanda Wilmot. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. President, Your Honours. Mr. Bourgeois, Duty Counsel.
Good morning, Mr. President. The team for Mr. Sang remains the same this morning. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. President, Your Honours. The team for Mr. Ruto remains the same, save that Mr. SFR will not be with us this week. I'm grateful.
Thank you. Mr. Ken, you will start your cross-examination in a minute, but first, witness, welcome back. You heard me say Mr. Ken will start his cross-examination in a minute, but first we want to give the reasons for a decision the chamber rendered late in the evening last Friday, the 5th of December 2014. Concerning the redaction on certain information in the metadata of 4 documents that the Ruto defense intends to use during the cross-examination of witness 658. During the court session last Friday, the 5th of December 2014, the defense of Mr. Ruto raised an urgent matter with the chamber concerning the redaction of sources of 4 documents it intends to use during the cross-examination of witness 658, prosecution witness. The Ruto defense submitted that the persons who are the sources of the documents are witnesses for the Ruto defense. Therefore, they contended, according to the chamber's redaction protocol, information related to such potential witnesses may be automatically redacted without the need for further justification. In any event, the Ruto defense pointed out, according to paragraph 58 of the redaction protocol, the chamber has the discretion to rule as appropriate in relation to the lifting of redaction of the type contemplated by the relevant provision of the redaction protocol. The prosecution objected to the proposed redaction and submitted that they are not justified. The prosecution argued that the overarching principle of the redaction protocol is that redaction is permitted only when there is a potential risk arising from disclosure. Having heard the submissions, later in the evening of the 5th of December 2014, the chamber directed the defense for Mr. Ruto to either disclose the sources of the documents or withdraw them from the list of material to be used during their cross-examination of witness 658. The Chamber finds that the retraction requested or proposed by the defense of Mr. Ruto is not warranted by the retraction protocol in the circumstances of use of a document for purposes of cross-examination of an opponent's witness. The redaction protocol was designed to provide general guidelines for a regime of redaction that would be appreciably fair and reasonable, with the aim of reducing ad hoc litigation in respect of every such redaction. It would be patently unfair to permit a party to use a document to cross-examine an opponent's witness in the course of a trial without disclosing the source of the document to the party whose witness is being cross-examined. The redaction protocol was not intended to permit that kind of ambush in the trial process. The Chamber has had occasion to indicate in the past, in the context of ex parte hearings and filings, that deprivation of information to the opposite party in the course of the proceeding remains an exceptional measure that may be justified as a shield. It is seldom ever justified as a sword. The same principle applies here. That is the ruling. Mr. Can you...
Excuse me, yeah, Honor. Yeah, private.
Let me finish. Mr. Can, you said you will be with this witness for how long?
Mr. President, I'll be as quick as I can, but I anticipate perhaps until Friday. I will endeavour to finish the witness, my cross-examination of the witness by Friday, by the end of Friday.
All right. You have to keep in mind that that may not be permitted because, as you are aware, the OTP had to be compelled to conclude their cross-examination, their examination in chief at a certain point, and so was the sang defense. We will keep that in mind, the number of hours the OTP used and the sang defense used. We wouldn't be looking at any disequilibrium in treatment of parties who examine this witness. We will go into private session.
Grateful.
Yeah.
We're in open session, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Keegan Katwa, the Chamber has considered your request and we grant it, but not to the extent of 30 minutes. You have 20 minutes to deal with the material you have in mind. Please proceed. Witness, the lawyers for the sang defense team have been given permission to deal with a certain matter concerning, did you say the song?
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes, so they've been given leave to deal with that before Mr. Ken starts his cross-examination. Mr. Ken, the Chamber will have you organize your cross-examination so that you end by Thursday, no later. Thank you.
I'm grateful. Mr. President, the end of Thursday.
Yes.
Grateful.
But no later than that.
Mr. President, this is a witness who was being conducted by Ms. Buisman. I request for your permission to just deal with this section because it is in Kalenjin, and so that we can conclude it faster than in fear of the language. With your permission,
proceed.
Now, Mr. Witness, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
You said that there was a song, Kimi Be Kwenet, which was sung since the year 2005, isn't it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please confirm that it is your testimony that the song was played way into the year 2007?
Yes, I can confirm that it started as from 2005 all through sometimes 2007.
Could you confirm if it is still being played currently when you last had KASFM way past the election of 2007?
But after elections of 2007, it's not sung regularly, but during that time of before the referendum of 2005 was commonly sung, and thereafter.
My question is, after the year 2007, did you ever hear it being played after the election of 2007, up to the last time you listened to the station?
But I could not listen to it again.
Now, I will take you to an audio of 25th December 2007, which we have been through with you. And I want you to listen to the audio. I want you to confirm if that is the song you heard. Your Honor, the audio itself is Ken-D11-0013-00281, and it is at tap 14. With the permission of the court, I'll request the court officer to avail a copy of the transcription we used previously of the audio, and the witness to be given one copy. Your Honor, we will be going to page 0583, and for the witness on the audio of 25th, it is page 15. I am sorry, Mr. President, I didn't intend that the witness be given a copy. If it could be retrieved from the witness, I meant the audio itself be given to the witness. I would request that it be put on e-court, page, the audio of 25th, page 0583. Witness, can you see it?
No.
May I read the transcription and translation again? It is, the first page is Ken-D11-0014-0568. And the page we are interested in is Ken-D11-0014-0583. And with the assistance of the court officer, I can give the witness a hard copy in the meantime as it's being set up. Now, witness, you can see at page 15 the line starting with interlude, Mr. Sang. You can see that, Mr. Witness.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
I'll play for you the song and request if you can confirm you recognize the song, please. Mr. President, we will play timestamp 29.31. Timestamp 29.31 to 30.23. Mr. Witness, could you confirm that is the song you heard?
Yes, it's the same.
And just to be very clear, are you saying that after the elections in the year 2007, you've not had this song played at all since then?
I'm just saying I cannot confirm.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Witness. Am I to understand that it could have been played, but you didn't hear it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, I want you to listen closely. I will stop at various points just to confirm with you whether you've heard a couple of things. Your Honor, I will play to timestamp 30.37.
What version are you playing? Are you playing the song as played on KAS FM, if it was played on KAS FM at the time, or are you playing a version of the song from another source? You know what I mean when I say from another source?
May I apologize? I should have explained that, Mr. President. In the last session when this issue came up, we indicated, Mr. President, that this audio was played in the station, and we have particular recording of that song in the transmission of the 25th December 2007, whose transcript and translation is what we've highlighted to the court and we've given to the witness. So what we are playing is what was played in that program, Mr. President. And this is...
1 second. Are you looking at what we see at page 15?
Yes, Mr. President. What is at page 15 is the observation of Mr. Sang immediately after the song, and so that there is explanation, we did not translate the part of the song in the transcript and the translation.
What I'm asking is, wondering is whether you are going to play the song so that it is clear to the witness and to everyone that the song you are playing was the version played as KAS FM. Meaning there should be some sort of bracketing information before the song and after the song, the version that was played on Cats FM. Can we do it that way?
Yes, Mr. President. I had intended to extend it beyond the song and have Mr. Sang's comment, but I could start with immediately before also.
Yes, why don't you do that for our purposes as well?
Mr. President, we had played the song from timestamp 29.31. We are starting with 29.00, just to put words immediately before that.
Askarindet kumanyolu kwai bolatet angot kitikin. Kini imuchi kotoret kityo Electoral Commission korib kalyet ing yoto mat kokon biik chemarget. Memuchi askarindet koek agent nebo chamait age tugul anan nebo chi age tugul. Askarindet nemi rusa anan nemi kasi kumamagat ing ngatutik chebo Electoral Commission kwai boisionoto. Unoto stekyo mitabrani koki missing ngolionoto kotogu kele mi ngolion netesetai ni noto kimeche kityo kemwa kele kiyoe ne sobit keribege ngalek cheu chu.
Witness, I would like you to just confirm what you've heard is what is at page 14 of the document you have. Your Honor, it is Ken-11-0014-058, and we have looked at the last paragraph.
It should be 0582, isn't it?
Yes, I'm sorry, Mr. President, 0582.
At page 14, native to the document itself.
Yes, Mr. President.
All right.
Witness, you heard the words to the effect that the law does not allow a soldier to engage in politics at all. The only assistance they can provide to the Electoral Commission is to provide security so that violence does not break out. A soldier cannot be a party or an individual's agent. A soldier who is on duty or on leave is not allowed by the electoral laws to do that. As such, dear listeners, today is difficult, and we all need to know what is happening, and that is why we just want to know what it is, so we are able to guard ourselves against such things. You confirm, Mr. Witness, that's what you heard Mr. Sang say immediately before the song, isn't it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Witness.
And for the record, that comment came apparently from page 14 after the discussion of statements of Mr. Raila Odinga. Is that it?
Yes, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Statements to, if you can, again for the record, tell us what Mr. Raila Odinga's statements were to the effect of.
Mr. Witness, you recall from the last process of cross-examination that we played an audio of Mr. Raila expressing concerns about the likelihood of fake ballot papers, the use of administration policemen as agents of PNU, and the use of motor vehicles to transport both the agents and the fake ballot papers. You remember that, Mr. Witness?
I remember, but...
It's all right. You can now proceed. We just want to capture the context on record. Witness. Proceed, Mr. Kigankatwa.
I'll proceed with the timestamp 30.23 to 30.37 and stop there to ask the witness one question. Mr. President, we've stopped at timestamp 30.47. Mr. Witness, could you confirm you've had a prayer for the young ones?
I could hear, Your Honor, but actually what's exactly the meaning of what I was saying previously about this song is that it doesn't mean that I'm not disputing that it's a Christian song, but my position, and many people could have think by that time, is that these songs generally was giving a Kalenjin community that they are in trouble at that particular time in 2005 and later. So that need to be taken over to the other side. I'm not disputing that it's talking about helping young and any other issues that I have. A song can be put any other could suit to mean what it was sung at that particular moment.
All right, witness, I think you've made that point, but the question from the lawyer is whether you heard in the words of the song played up until this point reference to young people.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Proceed, Mr. Kinkatwa.
Witness, then, if you recall the song, could you confirm if you recall it makes reference to the following people? Do you recall if it makes reference to women?
Your Honor, I know the songs. It can be put any code words at that particular moment, but I can't remember that. But actually, what...
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Do you remember it making reference to elders?
Mr. Kinkatwa, you need to play the song that was played on Cass FM at the time. Let's get to the end of it and get to the other side of the song, as in what was said, if anything was said during that broadcast after playing the song. Let's proceed, and then you can ask the witness questions later from what was actually played.
Witness, I will play to timestamp 30.57, and I will request you to check if you can hear reference to which people. Witness, you've had reference to women.
Yes, sir.
Mr. President, for expedition, can I run the whole song and then ask the questions? Because I think the witness...
That's what I said.
Witness, I will play the song. It is 4 minutes and we've spent some time. Up to timestamp 33.39, and then we will play what song says thereafter. Just listen very keenly and identify the people it refers to.
Kimi be kwenet tiendo noto ni akta tulistik kawakait kuuno midigenyor ngolian studio sabit ketesta.
Witness, I will kindly request you to confirm, did you hear reference to elders?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you hear reference to sickness or illness?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you hear reference to AIDS?
Yes.
Ebola?
Yes, Your Honor.
The rich?
Yes, Your Honor.
The poor?
The same.
Mr. President, okay, and then you heard Mr. Sang step in immediately after reference to the poor, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, I want to read in English what Mr. Sang said and ask you if you recall that's what you heard him say. That we, Mr. President, I'm looking at page 0583, the English translation at paragraph 3. We are in the middle of water mass. We are in the middle of water mass. That is the song, and we are now in such a situation. Let us get a word from the studio. Mr. Witness, do you recall that that's how far we went on this audio?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Witness, I just want to ask very few follow-up questions. The first one is the contention that Mr. Sangs was playing this song with a view to saying we need to support, we need to all rally behind Mr. Ruto so as to cross the water. You remember that was your testimony?
I said during my testimony, it comes to remember that this song was sung to rally people to think that they are in the middle of the problem. That is the middle of the water. This song itself, I'm not disputing the words in the music.
What is the point now is his question was that it's about reference to Mr. Ruto or the relation of this song to Mr. Ruto. Can you ask the question again? Can you please answer that question?
Let me ask differently in view of the witness's answer. Mr. Witness, to the best of your understanding of that song, did it have any reference to Ruto, or it is merely saying we just want to cross the water?
It doesn't talk about Ruto as itself, because this is a Christian song. But the meaning that I was talking about is that it was giving some emotions to the listeners that they are in trouble at that particular moment. And it is different from what I have been saying, that the song was using the same time to rally people behind the Honorable William Ruto.
Now, Mr. Witness, as you can see from that page 15 we just looked at, Mr. Sang is saying we have a situation, and that was in the year 2007, isn't it?
Yes, Your Honor.
You would agree that at that time there was the situation of the elections, isn't it?
Perfect.
And in the year 2005, you are saying there was the situation of the draft constitution, isn't it?
Yes, Your Honor. But, yes.
And the song says that we pray for court's assistance to come out of whichever situation, whether it is sickness or the situation of youth or women, isn't it?
Agreed according to the wording of the song.
Mr. King Katwa, you've exceeded the 30 minutes, even though we allowed you 20. 2 more minutes.
Mr. Witness, when you said Mr. Sang announced a fundraising, was this song still playing?
As I have said earlier, that I could still remember more about the previous songs. Previous time, yeah.
I put it to you, Mr. Witness, that Mr. Sang did not announce any fundraising whatsoever. What do you have to say to that?
According to my recollection, I can remember he was referring those fundraising.
Lastly, Mr. Witness, did you listen to an audio of 20th September 2005 when Mr. Sang hosted two lawyers, one Grace Kiptui and Mr. Kurgat, lawyers, to analyze the draft and advise listeners to listen, understand, and make a choice of whether to support or reject the Constitution? Did you hear that audio?
What has that got to do with the song?
It has, in the sense, Mr. President, that the song is, according to the testimony of the witness, was supposed to rally people beyond one position. And it is our defense that Mr. Sang provided a platform for all parties and all sections to make their case. And so I'm just asking the witness whether he has any recollection of that balance by Mr. Sang as opposed to what is purported in the playing of the song.
The question is disallowed. We have to end it here. Mr. Kinkatwa.
I just correct page 18, line 23. The word should be studio, not stadium. And Mr. President, there was an audio which we played of 7th of March 2007, which had not, we would pray to have it produced as an exhibit in the defense of Mr. Sang.
The song you played, an audio you played when?
On Friday, Mr. President, 7th March 2007. The audio itself is Ken-D11-0015-0120, and the transcription and translation is Ken-D11-0019-0177, and it was generally on the subject of resolutions and Mr. Sang's invitation to listeners to call in and indicate whether they support the desire of the leaders that the peoples of Rift Valley do rally behind ODM and Ruto. And the witness said he remembers that general proposition, although according to him, in other instances, Mr. Sang would still ask people to support Mr. Ruto. On the basis of the witness recognition of the general subject matter, which is the subject of his testimony, we pray that that audio of 7th March 2007 be produced as an exhibit in Mr. Sang's defense.
This is the audio that talked about the was it Rift Valley Declaration or something like that?
Yes, Mr. President. And in part also was answering the question as to whether or not Mr. Sang used to disconnect people who were discussing anti-ODM and anti-Ruto calls.
All right. Mr. Garcia?
Your Honor, I don't believe that the witness clearly stated having heard that broadcast in the past. And I understand that defense counsel at the time, Ms. Bausman, didn't ask for it to be tendered into evidence. I think it should be simply MFI'd.
May I confirm, Mr. President, the witness did not say he had that specific audio, but he said he recognized the general tendency being that Mr. Sang would occasionally give a chance to callers who are calling, whether they are against ODM or against Mr. Ruto, and that on these audios he realizes that Mr. Sang did not disconnect any of them here. He, however, says that there are other instances when he used to disconnect. And Mr. President, the gist of our defense and the use of this audio is merely to show, number one, Mr. Sang gave a chance to both people supporting ODM and those against, supporting Mr. Ruto and those opposed to him, and that he did not disconnect anybody. He gave people a chance, including people who said that if Mr. Ruto became a president, he would be a dictator like Idi Amin. That's really the point we were trying to answer in using this audio, Mr. President. We submit it is a very direct answer to the proposition and an issue that the witness has raised, and in view of the similarity or in view of the direct relevance and answer to the question or the issue raised by the witness, we pray that it be admitted as an exhibit, Mr. President.
Is it part of the materials covered by the Lamon affidavit?
Yes, it is, Mr. President.
Mr. Khan?
No objections. Thank you.
The document will be admitted as the next the audio and the transcript related to it will be admitted as the next defense exhibit.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and I thank the witness.
The document KEN D11 00150129 will bear the number EVD T D11 00081. Its related transcript, bearing number KEN D11 00190177, will bear the number EVD T D11 00082. Both documents are public.
Thank you. Witness, that now brings to an end the cross-examination of the Sang defense team. We had reopened it for them to put in those extra questions to you. Now, Mr. Khan will begin his own cross-examination. Mr. Khan, we're in public session.
I'm grateful, Mr. President, Your Honours. Witness, my name is Kareem Khan and I represent Mr. William Ruto. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honour.
You first spoke to the prosecution in this case in April 2010. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
And you were interviewed quite a few times starting in August 2010. That's right, isn't it?
Yes, Your Honour.
And in the 4.5 years since, you have been thinking an awful lot about this case, haven't you?
I don't know what you mean about that.
You've been following proceedings very closely. That's right, is it not?
Not so much.
In fact, you've been watching proceedings online quite extensively. Is that right or not?
Not regularly.
In fact, you've been discussing proceedings with other prosecution witnesses. Isn't that right?
What I can say that there is nothing I could discuss much about anything, Your Honour.
Witness, you have been discussing the proceedings in this case against William Ruto extensively with people that you know to be other prosecution witnesses. Isn't that the truth?
Not true, Your Honour.
And in fact, you've had secret meetings with people you know to be prosecution witnesses. Isn't that right?
There is no meeting that they are doing, Your Honour.
In fact, and don't tell the court where, but you've had secret meetings and you were so panic-stricken when you saw a car with people from the prosecution inside it, you jumped and hid in the bushes. Isn't that right?
I can't remember what you are talking about, Your Honour.
How many times have you jumped in the bushes, Mr. Witness?
Which bush is it actually?
When you see a car